Okay, I think I'm logged in here. 2 minutes early. That's a very big deal for me. So if you will, if you're watching the replay, fast forward a minute or so, and we'll be fine. I am been messing. I added in some more sound booth stuff behind me, which has goofed up the lighting in here. So I'm leaving it kind of dark and mystical. And Vic, if I look too dark, let me know. She already has told me that that the sound is coming through. I've got a set for 5 dB, Vic, so I can turn it up more if you need it. Otherwise, we'll go with sound as it is. And yeah, I put this black sound batting in behind here, and the whole room just went crazy darkness wise. So I've rearranged a bunch of the lighting, and I'm hoping that I look okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm not working with a lot here to look good in the first place, so anything we can do, probably darker is better. Let's see. So while everybody's logging in, the multitudes are logging in addition to Vic. Let's talk about very quickly what the plan is for tonight. We're going to play Three Blind Mice. We went over it last week. We're going to play it. Then we're going to look at Farmer in the Dell. Those are two songs that, when you picked up a guitar this week and you thought, boy, I would love to play something good. Those are the first two songs that come to mind. We'll play through Ain't Gonna Rain No Mo. And then we will take a look at Alouette. Alouette is actually a pretty good song. All through the night, we'll finish up tonight. Beautiful, beautiful piece of music. And then Aloha Oi, we'll take a look at. Getting the timing right on it is a little crazy. Thanks, Vic. And then for classical, we're going to look at Etudes 1 through 8 of the warm-ups. And then we're going to look at Etudes 46 through 48. I was like, we're not doing that many. So we're going to look at 3 of those etudes that are obviously much more complicated. We're kind of getting back into a groove, and we're going to start trying to figure out what you guys want to play and what I want to play and what I think you should want to play and all this stuff. And so we'll get it all figured out, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a regular pacing going here, and I want to keep it up. March 9th, I get a final actual legit control over GuitarOrchestra.com. And then I will be updating the website. I haven't rushed to get a lot of stuff done on the website because I know some of the backshop stuff is going to change. The content here won't change, but links and things will always get broken anytime that happens. And so that's coming. Once that's officially in place, then we're going to take out all the stops, and we're going to get all this thing completely updated. And so for now, anyway, know that the website is kind of a wreck, but this is sort of a placeholder at the moment. I did not know I was going to be successful getting GuitarOrchestra.com, or I would have waited on all of this. So feel very excited that that's on the way. All right, so let's take a look. We'll just play some of the easier stuff first, and most of you guys are up to speed on this already anyway. And then if you are watching the replay, I don't know whether you're up to speed or not. And so let's assume that you are not, and let's grab Three Blind Mice. All right, so we're going to play, and then let me make sure I'm telling you the truth. So much is happening. Too much is happening. As you know, I'm bad at keeping track of everything. But we're going to keep track. We're going to just keep moving forward, rushing forward full blast until one of you ends up picking up a Grammy. Won't be me. All right. Let me make sure I got the correct list up here. And let's go down the list. All right. Let's play Three Blind Mice. What do you say? I'm going to play it with my claw. Remember, you can also play it going thumb down. Make sure you're doing rest stroke if you're moving your thumb up and down. Make sure if you're using your claw that, I think a couple of things. One, if you're using your thumb, right, let's do it in the correct key. Right, just let those notes ring. It sounds beautiful no matter what. If you're using your claw, try to be pretty specific. Okay, it's easy to hit the wrong strings, and you'll do fine. Okay, you worked on it. Hopefully, it's gonna go easy. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. it's a good piece of music. Honestly, it's a great piece of music. Requires all of your skill set at this point in your life, right? When you're a new book one player and you get that, you're like, right? It's a lot. But remember, we're just building off the melody and dropping in the G chord underneath it at strategic locations, and we're just not using those two strings. Again, the purpose of this is to teach you how to read tough uke / fingerstyle tablature, and it's all sitting there waiting for you. All right, let's take a look at Farmer in the Dell. And there it is. I shouldn't have that like that. Farmer in the Dell, I'm going to update the sheet music. Or I think I already did. Maybe I just don't have the most recent one in my book. Let me go check and see. I did. Okay, so let me change that out real quick. Farmer in the Dell. All right, so with the Farmer in the Dell, here's the big takeaway. You're in 6/8 time. And that should mean to you that there's 6 beats in a measure, and an eighth note counts as 1 beat. So there's 6 eighth notes in every measure. What happens is when you see that is you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is how you should count it, but you probably aren't going to count it that way. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. It just feels like that, right? So we don't count 6/8 that way. We count it as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, and then we just drop the word triplet. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. The farmer in the dell, pa. The farmer in the dell, pa. Hi. Ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. So it ends up being in 2, but because of all the other notes in there, it's written out in 6. It's written in 6, but you count it in 2. So when you see 6/8, don't get confused. Don't let your pre-algebra teacher confuse you. You don't reduce 6/8 to 3/4 and have 3 beats in a measure. That's not what that is. It's going to be 2 beats with 3 notes in each beat. Okay, some of the notes you play, some of them you won't. So that's important. Second thing that's important in this is you've got your A chord, and if those guitarists that are online will promise, they'll agree with me. There's never going to be a day in guitar when you don't make an A chord. It's index, middle, ring. Everybody's crammed into the 2nd fret on strings 4, 3, and 2, and it's there every single day in guitar. You make an A chord. Right? It's a nice chord. You can't hit a bad string. Even the E string is fine. And so that's your chord. Now, when we're thinking about that chord, and we're going to sing it, again, I know, brace yourself. Singing is about to come out of my face. The farmer in the dell, the farm, right? That's what you're thinking. You can feel those 2 beats, and then you just have to sing between those 2 beats, okay? So let's practice this. Those of you guys who are newer, index over here, you're going to be pulling up on the bottom 3 strings. Your thumb is going to start on A string, and then it's going to switch to the D string and back. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. Okay, and then between those, you're going to go boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. So between each of those, and those are going to happen in places different than when you're singing. That's why you're listening as a singer for the bass line, boom, 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 and then putting your notes in between those 2 beats, okay? And then as a guitarist, here's the beat, there's the beat, here's the beat, there's the beat, and this part is just decoration. This is just filling in the chord. So give it a try. From the top, this chord won't change. Just do thumb on the A string and then thumb on the D string. Okay? 1, 2. The farmer in... Whoops, I'm going too slow. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. One more time around. The cheese stands the cheese stands alone. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the cheese stands alone. Okay, so when you watch most singers who have a guitar on strapped to the front of them, that might be the most complicated thing they do, is they're going to have an alternating thumb and then pulling at the chords either this way or possibly an arpeggio. But it's a really nice way of creating meaningful chord accompaniment. Even though it's a pretty simple song, you can make it sound kind of cool with that boom, boom, chuck, bass. The other thing to think about is, hey, what if I did pluck in 6/8? You would start with thumb, that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, and then middle, index, middle, ring, middle, index. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. Now you have your 6 beats, and now you can continue to sing over this is your main beat, and these are your fill. Now you have something really fancy going on. Can't do that with your thumb, really. Bum. You're going to miss strings, right? That's why you go to the claw position, and this will end up sounding kind of cool. Let's give it a try. Just maybe one time through. We'll see how I do, right? 1, 2. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The farmer in the dell. Okay, so you see what's going on there, right? Those are the 6 real beats going on here, but the only 2 that matter are you're hitting with in this case, the only one that matters is your thumb, right? That's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if we want to do the boom chuck in the bass, it gets even more complicated. 1, 2, 3, and then ring and thumb together. 2. I don't practice that way because I don't sing, but you that would be super complicated and super fancy, right? So those of you who like to sing, just spend some time working on that, coming up with new cool things to do with your right hand, because nothing's changing over here on the left hand. Even if you had a chord change in the middle on there like we would have on some of the Book 2 songs, you still would be building up a more interesting vocabulary with your right hand. Okay, for those of you who are newer, remember your melody learning to play melody is the most important thing that you do in guitar. You will quit guitar if you're not a singer and you don't learn melody. So what I need for you to always be practicing every time you pull up a sheet music is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Now notice I've left my A chord on here, and I'm just lifting up the fingers. When I need a 0, I just lift whatever string is up, needs that 0 on it, and then I put it right back down. So the whole beginning of this, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, I don't have to move anything. Then I have 1 0 on the second string, so I'm going to lift that finger up, and then put it right back down. Okay, now I've got the top string, it's already open. I got to go grab that 2 and bring it back open. Lift this up to get that last 0, next to last 0. And back down, 2, 2, 0, 0, 2. So the only finger I've moved this whole time is this guy, right? I moved him around a few times. And that's when you know you're playing well, is when you can leave most of your fingers down and just move the essential ones. Let's play the melody just with your A chord, okay? 1, 2. those two fingers never moved the whole time. Very exciting. That's good music making if you can pull that off. We have a tendency when we're new to sort of yank our hands off all of the time, thinking something else has got to happen. We're going to have more activity over here. The less activity you can get away with over here, the better you're playing, the better sounding you're going to be, and the more accurate you'll be, obviously. Okay, this week, take a look at the tough. Let's play it through. Those of you guys who are ready, let's play through it. And those of you who aren't, get ready this week. Okay, so it's going to be, let's do it with thumb. Okay, and there's your first note. So for me, it's always get the chord on. Which string is my first note on? Here we go. With your thumb. If you are working on claw position, which you always should be on every song, you should do thumb and claw just to see how you're doing. Okay, let's play through claw-wise. 1, 2. And you got a couple of decorative notes that are added in there. Obviously, you learned those decorative notes in Three Blind Mice, kind of starting to get used to them. But you got some decorative notes in here. Don't not play decorative notes loudly. Make a commitment to them. Otherwise, people think you're just goofing up, right? The farmer in the Dell, goof, right? Don't play them quietly. Play them with verb. The light is. Oh, good. Hey, maybe this works out for the better. Yeah, put the black background on. It freaks out the light and the camera. And the camera's like, I don't know. So earlier today I was in here and the light was so bright on my face. I'm like, I got to do something about that. I always want to just broadcast in black and white because it fixes all of the skin tone problems. Anyway, nobody's looking at this, so it's fine. And Vic already knows. Vic already knows what she's dealing with here. All right, so you've got the A chord, you've got the melody, and you have tough acts both with your thumb and with your claw. And remember how to do your repeats. Next week we will play this. We won't do all 10 verses of it, right? So at some point I will say second ending, and in that case that means the 10th ending on this song, and you will go over to number 9 and not play number 8. Okay, big takeaways here. Musically speaking, you got some sharps in the key signature. That's how you know you're in the key of A. We don't care about that as tab players. As standard notation readers, you might care about it, but tab players couldn't care less. You have some rests in here, and so try to take rests kind of serious. The rest at the end of number 8, the farmer in the Dell, bomb bomb. Rest. Make all of the sound stop and then start again. So take those rests seriously. There's a pickup note. That phrase is going to come up a lot. In measure 6, there's a note before the first beat. That's called a pickup note. Time signature 6/8. We talked about that. Repeats. We talked about that. And then the chord, of course. So you're now up to A chord, E chord, and G chord. Okay, can't write a song yet. Next week when we get D, we'll start doing some songwriting. Beautiful. All right, that's book 1. Let's go take a look at book 2. In book 2, we are going to go play Ain't Gonna Rain No More. Okay, book 2, Ain't Gonna Rain No More. And there's 2 verses on here, so we'll play down to measure 16. Then we will come back up to number 1, and then we will go play to the end. We will skip measure 16. Okay, and I need to fix this really quick to number 1. I've started adding in 2 number whatever. When you have an iPad and you have to switch back, you never know how many pages to go back, especially when I do deal with a lot of conductor scores. So I've started writing on all of my repeats which measure I go back to. I think in the world with iPads, it's just almost essential to be doing that. And the rest of the music world will eventually catch up in 20 years from now, and they'll start doing it too. Okay, Ain't Gonna Rain No More. We're in the key of D. Our other chord is A7. Okay, I'm not going to sing it because you know nothing good's coming from that. But remember, when we get to, if you are newer, you're playing the melody. If you've been around a while and you love to sing, or and you could play the chords. And of course, those of you guys who are really been around a while, you are on tough acts. You know there's no other line to be worried with. Okay, from the top, I'm going to play tough acts, obviously. I am gravitating toward the claw on this one. I don't think it's for sure. I think this works pretty well with the thumb down as well. But I'm tending to gravitate toward claw on it, and I don't think there's a real reason for that. From the top, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Top. Switch to my thumb partway through. Kind of a fun little tune. We'll get a little bit of lilt into it. Da da dun 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 dun. Have a little bit of fun with it. It's a silly song. If you take time to read the additional lyrics, you can actually. It could actually be a song if you like singing. Oh, there ain't no bugs on me. No, there ain't no bugs on me. Some of you bugs got a lot of them bugs, but there ain't no bugs on me. So you got this next set of group of lyrics that you could play with that are actually quite cute. Okay? And I think I probably mentioned last week, Wendell Holmes wrote 50 verses of this, and about 40 of them are absolutely awful, and not in the just bad way, but in like purposely mean kind of way. And so I don't recommend them all. Let's talk about Alouette. Let's switch over to that one real quick. All right, so this week you guys are book 2 on this one. So 1, make sure you're comfortable with D chord. Going to A7. Alouette, gentille Alouette, Alouette, gentille boumarée, right? More French. I wore a French beret just on purpose, right? Make it as Frenchy as you can. Comically French, right? Not real French. The French people are the entire nation of France is not as funny as you'd think. No, you just want to make this one kind of stereotypically American-y French, right? Alouette, right? Do all that nonsense. They don't really do that. We do that and pretend that they did it. So there's that. So play it through a few times. The story is there's a raven or a crow or something, a black bird hanging out outside the window, making all this racket, and he's mad, and so he's going to tear this bird limb from limb, tear his head off, his beak off, his neck off, his back off, his wing off, his feet off, and his tail off. When I was a kid, they used this to teach us a little French, right? What are these words mean? Not great for the bird, this song. All right, let's play the melody. Those of you who are new, this is enough. If you can play this, this would be great. 1, 2, ready, go. Go slow here. And let that 0 completely ring out, and then go. Okay. That's your last note. Bong. Okay. You don't have to do that. And then on this sheet, all of the book 2 songs are in the process of being revised, and I'm deleting arpeggio from all of them. Okay, because that's not how you should think about I shouldn't have to teach you what the specific arpeggio is. Most people would be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do right, and just leave it at that. So I'm going to take all those arpeggio lines off. I don't think they're helpful, but I'll give you suggestions of what I might do as a separate little addendum. And then if you are playing the tough acts this week, which you should because it's hilarious, remember, again, thumb down. With that is it's so pretty, it takes the Frenchness out of it, right? It's like, oh, that's a really good song. And then go through and play it with your claw. There's not the positioning, generally speaking, is pretty comfortable over here in the first 4 measures, but measures 5 and 6, 7, and 8 are much more challenging. You get to measure 5. Whoops. Now you've got to get all the way up. This pinky has to be up on 5, and you still have to be holding the chord. So watch what I'm going to do. Here's where I'm at. As I'm sliding the pinky forward, I'm letting go of the ring finger, and I'm replacing it with my middle finger, so that I end up with index, middle, pinky. My ring's going to do nothing. Okay. So we get comfortable with the D chord sliding up to this 5. Index finger goes nowhere, and middle finger, where we normally have our ring finger, your middle finger is going to place that. That chord shape is going to come up 80 bajillion times in finger style. So you got to get comfortable with it, because once you're comfortable with that, we're going to be pulling it back to a regular D chord, right? And so stretch, normal, okay? So that's going to happen. Okay, the other thing that happens is at measure 6, you got to put this little bar on, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, leave the A string open because it's an A chord, and pinky up on 5. And you're not going to have any other choice but to let that go. Middle finger, regular D chord. Okay, right back to that big stretch. is 3 strings. Page 2. You can do that with your claw as well, obviously. And then the whole thing coming down. Change to your middle. Just a bar. Regular A chord to get the open string on the first. And I even been going. Okay, and in fact, I'm going to even write myself. I need to just put a big old gliss right there, right? Let it ring. And then back to the main thing. Okay, so that middle section there is pretty challenging, and that's going to take these higher level chords. So a lot of times when people say, "Oh, you just teach really boring old-fashioned songs," I'm like, "Yeah, just come try measures 5 through 9 on Alouette. You're going to learn a lot. That's a really important moment. All of those pieces and parts that you're learning here in this short 4-measure situation are going to be chords that come up all of the time in the advanced music. So why not learn how to do them here easy, right? That makes sense to me. All right, so we're going to Alouette this week. Let's go on to book 3 and let's grab All Through the Night. Okay, this is the updated sheet music. Very excited about this. Okay. However you want to play it when you're in book 3, you know what you're supposed to do. Play it with chords and sing over me, which would be helpful. Every time I get a chance to play with a singer, I'm like, yes, I will take that opportunity, because then I know they're going to be up in front. Everybody's going to be wowed by them, and I'm going to be back there handling chords. Got that covered. All right. Let's see. If you're new, you're playing the melody along with me playing tough. And generally speaking, tough goes in 2 stages, right? First, you learn it with your thumb, then you switch to claw. Okay, so I'll play with my claw. You play it whatever way makes sense to you. Here we go. And we go down to, there's 3 repeats in here. We're only going to do 2, obviously. So we'll go down to 16, come back to 1, and then play to the end. Okay, so don't do all 3 versions. 1, 2, ready, play. Whoops. Boy, you miss 1 chord and you're doomed, right? All right, don't do that. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's just so lovely. I really love that song. Okay, so you learned all these Three Blind Mice and Alouette, and then now you can knock something like that out, which is legit really good music. So hopefully that makes sense to you, right? Okay, beautiful. All through the night. I love that song. Let's take a peek at Aloha Oi, because it is a lot harder than the others on some level. Okay, so first of all, just knowing the song, I would for sure go to the website and listen to this MP3 a bunch of times while looking at the sheet music, because the rhythm is not what you think. Okay, da da dum 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 be dum bum bum bum. Bum 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 ba dum bum 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 bum. Bum ba da ba da dum ba dum bum 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 ba da bum bum ba da bum bum. That's so weird. That's just wrong. Bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum. Ba-dum dum dum ba-dum dum 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 bum bum ba-da-ya da-ya. Right, and then so you got to have that song basically in your head to have any chance of getting this right. Everybody says when I'm teaching this, I'm like, I don't know how to sing Hawaiian, and they're like, oh, it's easy, it's all very phonetic, and then you look at it, you're like, no, that's not easy at all. It's super complicated, and better left to the pros. So one, make sure you get your rhythm correct by listening to MP3. Two, it's a 3-chord song. D chord, yay, G chord, yay, back to D chord, or to A7, and that's it, right? There's no other chords in the whole song, so you can actually sing it. When I do this by voice, I don't sing, I just hum the lyrics, right? Ha ha ha, just like I just did, right? And so, complicated to pronounce, I think, and but not hard necessarily to do the chords. I'm trying to sneeze. All right, melody-wise, let's just go ahead and play through the melody to make sure that you're more or less got the right rhythm. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3. Use your pinky. Sorry. Keep going. Okay, so I missed a bunch of notes there. I need to practice it this week, obviously, but at least that way you get a general sense of the song. The one thing that was happening to me, and it'll happen to you too, when you go for these 4s, you gotta use your pinky. You don't have a choice. You have to use your pinky on them, and it has this tendency to pull you out of position. And so often after I hit that 4, rather than hitting a 3, I was hitting a 4 again, right? And so it tends to pull your hand forward. Just be aware of that. You have to hit 4s when you're playing melody with that pinky. Don't reach up here with your ring finger. I promise it's not going to do you any favors. Use your pinky on that 4, and then just remember you got to get back into position after you hit that. Also, with that 4-on-4, this is going to come up a billion times. And what I mostly see and what I did forever would just reach like heck and hope for the best, right? Be very, when you see it coming up, just take your eye out of the paper. Be very methodical. Plant your pinky properly, just like that, okay? Nice round pinky. I want the nice round pinky. I want the tip of it going right on top of that 4th string, 4th fret. I want it to be right behind the fret, right there, okay? And then whatever else happens after that, I'm good, right? But at least I've gotten this very weird, difficult thing set up and done correctly. And then I can always get back into position if I'm paying a little bit better attention than I just was. And I can get back into normal playing position. But that one note is so hard to get to. I got to just pull my eye off paper, go get that note. Don't just be shooting in the dark hoping you'll get it, because like me, you'll fail. And, well, maybe you will. Maybe you'll do it perfectly every time. I don't know. I think you want to practice that. Just perfect pinky, 4th string, 4th fret. Get it there. Let everything else get as close as you can, but get that one note correct, and I think everything else will go well. As for the tough uke, pretty tough axe. The fingerstyle line, pretty challenging little piece. Okay, and don't go fast. This is Hawaii. Oh. Again, you got a 4 there. Go down, look at it, make sure you get it right. And then come back to your A7. D chord. Big 4 here. Here's a great opportunity. You got your G chord, and do just exactly what's written here. Open bottom, bottom with your ring finger, bottom with ring and finger, pinky. Okay, and this is a place where I might definitely drop my thumb through, right? Okay, back to your D chord. I'm in no hurry here. This is 16th notes, so they're kind of fast. There's a 4 again. Get your pinky on there. Again, the same thing. Ring finger. Put your pinky on. Drop your thumb. Put that 2 down here. You got to go fast from the there to there. And then at the end there in the tough line, I just put a regular D chord, but you should put 7, 7, 7, 10. Okay, that's what I will be. When I adjust the sheet music, I will. Gary. Yeah, there's my bud. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Really good to see you, man. Gary is a great fingerstyle player, and he's just unbelievable, the stuff he's done. I'm kind of like in awe that he's here. Very, very exciting to have you, my man. Okay, so there's Aloha Oi, and that is your work piece for this week. I would say, again, all through the night's a beautiful piece. Not super crazy hard to play, but you'll end up with something that's really meaningful and really nice for your repertoire. Aloha Oi is that exact same thing. And the cool part about Aloha Oi is it's from Hawaii, right? So you're not expected to be playing it super fast and in perfect timing. Make every note count. Let those luscious tones come oozing out of your guitar. Don't be in a hurry. It says 60. If I play it at 40, I'm probably going to get away with it. I mean, just take your time, make every note count, and you'll end up with another really nice piece for your repertoire. All right, so Aloha Oe this week, Alouette this week, and Farmer in the Dell. Okay, and then that's the fingerstyle stuff. So now let's take a peek at the Sagreras stuff. And if you haven't yet, on the website, I have posted book with the 1 through 45. I reposted it. It's dated today. And I want you to go get that one because I don't intend on ever changing it ever again. It's really boring to play, but it's actually going to be very helpful for you long term as a classical guitarist. So for lots of times when we start classical guitar, they spend so much time with this nonsense that they never get around to having you play anything, and especially with younger students. If you get younger students, when you decide to start teaching somebody else guitar, they're gonna quit if you give them 45 super boring etudes. And so I've given you 45 super boring etudes. We're going to work on them a little at a time and talk about what's important about them. But for the most part, don't do this to anybody. Just know that you have it and you can get people up and running with, do one page of them and then move on to some music. And so it's all here. It's all done. I don't think I'll change anything about it ever. It's a handy way to warm up with. In order to play Etudes 1 through 45, if you set it at the 140 BPM, it's still going to take you 12 minutes to play the whole thing. So again, your hands will be warmed up after those 12 minutes for sure. Let's talk about Etude number 1. And again, with all of these Etudes, we're teaching rest stroke. Okay. A lot of times in fingerstyle, we don't waste our time with rest stroke because we got too much to do, but you get better, beautiful sound if you can talk yourself into this. Let's do 4 beats on each string. Ready, and 1 and 2, go. Index, middle, index, go. Oh, 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 oh. Ton of wrong notes in there because I'm not disciplined enough. Anchor my thumb on this string and then don't move, right? And just that's why we study rest stroke, is because it makes you more disciplined as a player. And long term, especially in classical music, you're going to be doing rest strokes up here. You're going to be playing Asturias, which is not rest strokes, but you got to get control over these fingers, right? And so there's that. All right, next we're going to play Etude 2, and you're going to grab your C chord, not the whole C chord, just the 3 and the 2. Okay, know that those two notes are going to be necessary in this. And again, rest stroke with index and middle. Okay, from measure 15, go. 3, 2, 3, 4, oh, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, middle, 3, 2, 3, 4, oh, 2, 3, 4, middle, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, open, 2, 3, 4, index, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. Nothing too exciting, but you want to make sure you're using rest strokes and index middle are happening, alternating each time. Thankfully, he only has us do a couple of whole note exercises. Okay, let's do the next one. Same notes, just faster. Okay, measure Etude number 3 from measure 25. 1, 2, 3, 4. On this, I put in a note that it would be great to say the note names aloud as you're playing. If you're going to play classical guitar at a high level, you're going to have to get comfortable reading the sheet music, and the sooner you learn where the notes are on your guitar, the better. Most of you are not going to be playing classical guitar at a high level out in public, and tablature is going to be just fine for you. But in any event, it's not a bad idea to learn what the names of the notes are and where they are on the fretboard. Let's do number 4. Same notes, just a little bit different rhythm. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. Anytime you have a whole note, wiggle this finger back and forth. Don't lift it up, just wiggle it. You can hear a tiny bit of vibrato in there. You know, it's not violin vibrato, but it's kind of like that. Right, same measure, let's go to measure 41, next page over. Same notes, again, a little bit different rhythm. 1, 2, ready, go. Most of the time when I'm doing these, if I end up on my index finger on the last note, I feel like a hero, right? So a lot of times I end up doing doubles and missing a note here or there, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not playing the right. I'm not doing what it says. Let's do number 7 now, which is at measure 56. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cheated a little bit over here. That one actually has some borderline melody in it, right? And then finally for tonight, because we're not going to do this many each week, by the way. We'll do 1 page of them at the most. Okay, we'll do measure number 8. The only reason we're doing this many tonight is we talked about them last week. All right, and then number 8, wrap up at measure 65. Same thing, index, middle, always rest stroke. Okay, from the top, or from 65, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh goodness, I lost my spot. From measure 65 again, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so yeah, again, not exciting work, but important work if you're going to be playing classical music at a higher level. And so super kind of a little bit on the boring side, but probably good for you. All right, now let's go take a look at the other Sagreras stuff, which is the later stuff. And that's actually beautiful and really, like, if you wanted to make some money playing classical guitar, all you would need to do is do these Sagreras pieces starting at number 45. So let me go make sure I have uploaded. And if you didn't upload it yet, it's on the website. You'll know because it has some green notes in it on page 2. Last week they were pink. I decided pink was too hard to see, and so I'm now going to be using green notes. That's important. All right, grab your A minor chord. Notice when you go to your E7 chord, it's just those 2 fingers, right? And that sounds like dramatic. This is the basis of flamenco, right? High drama through there. Those are the only 2, and then in measure 7, got that D minor in there. Back to your A minor, E chord. Most classical, old school methods started with A minor, D minor, E7 because it's really conveniently placed on this. Okay, so but now when you're playing the tough line of it, you don't need to do the full chord. You only need to do these 2 notes to get to your A. Okay, and then if you notice, the standard notation is just a wreck. Like, who the heck writes like that? But you should be able to mostly ignore that. Pay attention to the fingering: thumb, index, middle, A, index, middle, and then the whole thing is the same exact pattern on your right hand. Okay, so from 46, ready, play. Just right there for just a second. Do you have your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string? That's what you want. Okay, we're going to overuse pinky in guitar, and getting your pinky there and not stretching your ring finger way out is not. It's better for your pinky. Okay, let's go on to measure 5. Back to your A minor. Go. Other thing on this new version of this that is important, I put in these repeats. These repeats are not in his original book, but if you get to a repeat and you're like, man, I really messed that section up, go ahead and do the repeat, right? Play it a second time. If you played it perfectly, then forget about it, move on, right? So the repeats are very optional here, but we sounded super cool, didn't we? That sounds like something big and dramatic is about to happen. Okay, then it says faster, right? So let's go on to 47. Basically the same chords, just a little bit different procedure for plucking them. Okay, so get that same A minor on. You don't have to put the full A minor on because it's classical music. You're going to be busy enough. Don't put any notes down unless you really have to. Okay, and a little bit faster. Ready, play. That on here as a transitional note, either back to the measure 10 or onto the next page. Okay, so I messed up measure 18 pretty good, and I looked down like, what in the heck? It still sounded halfway decent, but in the middle. So right now you've just played a whole page of music, very dramatic. Right? If you did all the repeats, all of a sudden people would be like, what's going on in this song? It sounds very serious and very somber. He's really and Gary showed up with his guitar in a bad mood. He's playing evil songs, right? And just an etude, right? 2 etudes strung together, put the repeats in. And then the last one, we talked about this last week, and so then things brighten up. We go into the C chord, so grab your C chord. And again, you don't need to grab the whole C chord because you're not going to use the 2 for a while, and maybe at all, I don't remember. But you need your ring finger here, and your index finger there. And then look, it looks so crazy, but the last word on page 1 is much slower. So when you get there, you're like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. No, just slow down, okay? Again, get your claw on. Thumb is on that 5th string. C-shaped chord on here. Don't worry about your middle finger. And play. Stop you right there. Is your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string? Should be your pinky. Okay, again, especially those of you guys who do a little ukulele with me, we use our ring finger there all the time. But on guitar, you want to use your pinky finger. Okay, let's go on to measure 29. Back to your C chord. 29. Ready, play. I'm sorry, this is a D minor. I just didn't get my fingers on correctly. For measure 31, go. That 2 is a transitional note. It's supposed to sound wrong. Dum. Back to the top or on to the next page. Those last notes that I've added on in blue are designed, these etudes take about 10-15 seconds to play, and nobody wants to play those, and nobody wants to listen to those. But if we string them all together, we got 6 minutes of music on here, but just between the handful of etudes that are here already. And guys, we have 7 books of this stuff, so by the time you get toward the end, you're going to be playing really sophisticated stuff, and it's just going to just layer you in nice and steady, where you're going to be a legit classical guitar player without having to waste all of your time on songs that are too hard and blah blah blah. You're going to sound amazing, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. You're going to be a great player. All right. So next week in classical, and I will try like heck to remember, we're going to play 49, 50, 51, and 52. So we'll play the next 2 pages. So pages 3 and 4 of this. And again, slow down. It doesn't matter what speed you play it at, but on the website there is an MP3 that you can go in and listen to those tunes and be like, oh, okay, now I understand what I'm supposed to sound like. Let's see what I do. But take a look at 49, 50, 51, and 52, and we'll knock those out next week. And if you didn't feel comfortable playing pages 1 and 2 today, work on those. Okay, make sure you do. And remember, 4th finger, man. Yeah, pinky's going to spend a lot of time in these 2 in this area, and always up here in 4, right? So make sure we're working on that. Okay, that's what I know about. We'll play the next page of the boring stuff, and then we'll play the next 2 pages of the good stuff, and we'll end up being fabulous guitarists here in about a week and a half. And if many of you already are. Gary, good to see you. Vic, good to see you. Everybody else that's sitting there and hasn't logged in, good to see you. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. And go to the website will be guitarorchestra.com. Right now it's guitarorchestra.net. And then a lot of the stuff is still sitting over at denverguitarorchestra.com, which I'm waiting to move the instructional stuff from their website onto the new website once I get the .com officially up and running. So that's what's going on with guitar. Tomorrow is harmonica. I think I'm going to cancel harmonica. I have a medical procedure tomorrow, which I am currently prepping for. I bet you know which one it is, and I gotta go. So I will see you probably. Guitarists, I'll see you in a week. You harmonica players, I think we'll skip tomorrow, and because I will be coming out of the fog of anesthesia, and then which is not any different than normal for me. And then Tuesday we'll get into beginning ukulele and then advanced ukulele on Wednesday. So come check out some stuff that I'm working on. Keep showing up. We're all gonna have a good time playing music together. Talk to you soon. Peace. Gary, Vic, good to see you guys.